Well, 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 we are back again. There is Much and Hutch and the Much and Hutch podcast. I brought in a friend today because I thought it'd be really fun to talk about arts and crafts from a different perspective. I'm Mary Hodson, president of the Chamber of Commerce in Hutchinson, Minnesota. You know I like to say Much and Hutch, but I brought with me today my new membership coordinator. You might already know her from the community, Jill Burrell. Yay!
Hello!
The crowd goes wild. Jill, welcome to the podcast.
This is exciting.
Yeah, this is super fun. So this is just you and I chatting. And people should know that we're two squirrels.
They should know this.
We're two squirrels in a nut.
Sort of like two peas in a pod.
Yeah, but we're very squirrely, and we'll probably go off on some tangents, but that'll make it fun. Today we're going to talk about this little itty bitty event that we have.
It's really just minor.
Yeah, it's a minor thing. It is the 45th annual Hutchinson Arts and Crafts Festival and the Taste of Hutchinson. 45 years.
And I've been here for 20.
This has been around way longer than we have been, right?
I know.
I know, because we're both 25, so.
Exactly.
I like those incremental numbers.
And many years ago, when I worked at the Hutchinson Leader, I remember my first Arts and Crafts Festival, and a bunch of us from the staff walking over on our lunch hour. And
Yeah, because you worked right around the corner at the time.
I did.
On Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've always worked downtown, so I've always been aware of arts and crafts, and always loved to shop it.
I know. I'm thinking back to my first arts and crafts, and it would have been that first full year that we were here, and just like, I loved it. It was so much fun, and for a squirrel, it's kind of hard to go through because you gotta go through 6 times so you can see everything, because you're looking here and then something sparkly, over here, look, something with my name on it, look, something with mine, yeah.
And I ran into this person and talked to them.
That never happens to me, Jill.
No, me neither.
No, never. Okay, so we're talking about the Hutchinson Arts and Crafts Festival, which is the 13th and 14th of September. We're talking the 2019 year. So for you and I, it is 3 days away from load-in. Taste of Hutchinson is also happening at the same time. So that's the ambassadors do that. So the Hutchinson Chamber ambassadors run Taste of Hutchinson. I was talking with Missy Coles, who is the chairperson for that, and we were talking about food the other day, and my mouth started watering.
There are some really cool new vendors coming this year for Taste of Hutch.
Yeah, so they have a couple of new ones. Somebody who's going to cover cheese curds, because the Rotary has retired doing cheese curds, so there's somebody else doing cheese curds. And if anybody was at the McLeod County Fair, the gal who is pretty new, but she had this barbecue chicken sandwich that had coleslaw that came with it or on it, and people were raving about it. She's going to be here.
Yes, the Hungry Giraffe.
Yeah, she's the one that's going to do cheese curds. And then the guy, Eat Me, Drink Me, he's got crepes and roasted corn. So those are just some of the new things. Some of the tried and true vendors are doing some new things too, but I don't remember what all of those are because there's so much. It's impossible for us to remember everything.
This is true.
Okay, so let's talk about this arts and crafts thing that's going on.
It's pretty exciting. We have a lot of fun new vendors, brand new first-time people.
Right. So if people don't realize, literally, they're still calling us. We're recording this Monday. I think we're going to post on Monday, the 9th, and we still have people calling that want to come in and load in on Thursday. And there was 2 new ones already. So that would put us over 30 new vendors. Isn't that crazy?
It's
exciting. So exciting, yeah. Because they're bringing in new things, and everybody's always wanting to know what the big new thing is, and I can't wait to find out what the big new thing will be.
Right.
We'll have to find out. I had another new vendor who has like a food kind of thing, so we'll have to see if that goes through. So we got some of those. We, of course, have the repurposed, and we have some of those people who everyone has loved to come and see for years and years and years.
Yes, and The cheese guys are back.
The cheese guys are back. I get asked that question a lot.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were good. Did you try
Yeah.
the cheese guys?
Yeah, you got to try the cheese guys if you haven't, because they're so good. Yeah, Adam's with us this morning. Adam Bubalt's from KDUZ, KRP, KGLB. I'm always so proud of myself when I remember that G. But he's like, no, I haven't. And we're like, dude, you got to try it. We're like looking at him like cockeyed, like, what's wrong with you? We got to try the cheese guys. So, all right, let's talk about some of the things that are also going to be happening while this is going on. So we're down at Library Square Park, downtown Hutchinson, Minnesota. But there's other things that are going to be happening. So the Hutchinson Center for the Arts, they're going to do a make and take. Have you ever done printmaking?
Yes.
Yeah. So Lisa, who is an artist herself and the executive director at the Center for the Arts, is going to be doing printmaking. And they're going to be in a new location this year. They're going to be by us up at the steps of Library Square on Friday from 10 to 4. So that will be fun to watch people as they're coming and doing that. And hopefully it'll be easier for them to find her. And then also happening the same time, same location is the used book sale at the library.
This is huge.
Have boxes and I mean, it's unbelievable to me. It's so hard to even wrap my head around how many books that they have. And they're really inexpensive. So if you're a book lover or no book lovers, this is a great way to really bless them. And it's great for the earth because we're recycling them. We're not throwing them away, which is really important, I think.
Yes. And in the day of the e-reader, because I'm somebody who loves to read, and I absolutely, there's nothing that replaces holding a book in your hands to read.
I know, yeah.
And I am an e-reader. I fully admit that, but I fully support just holding a book.
I'm not an e-reader person yet, but I love a good book. Now, when we went on vacation, I might have told you this, I took 10 books with me on vacation. I read 8 books in 10 days. And then I leave them where we are to bless other people with them.
That's great.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of times you're going to be somewhere where there's an airport or a hotel, and then you're like, oh, I would just wish I had a little, something. So that's what I do with them. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's happening Friday and Saturday. It's on Hassan Street, so it's just on the other side of the library where we are. And if people wanted to find us, they're going to find us right at the base of those library steps in the front.
Right.
The historic Carnegie Library.
And look for our blue tent.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be with the blue tent. Very good. Also happening, I mean, there's so much, and I love that people are adding on to the weekend because it's not just about us, and there's so many complementary things. They're not competing, they're complementary to what we're doing.
It's because there's muchinhutch.
Oh, I love it, Jill. She knows how to bring it in. So a lot of our chamber members have some things going on, so I want to share those things. Habitat for Humanity. They have a barn sale on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this year where you can go and buy stuff that helps support Habitat for Humanity. If you're not sure where the barn sale is, you can obviously go to Habitat for Humanity website. However, I'm going to give you the quick and easy of it. Jill, if you hop on Highway 7 east from here, it is just past what's now the Queen's Inn.
Ah.
Yeah, so there's a little barn. It's right by CrossFit, the CrossFit by Iron Jungle, another chamber member of ours.
Yes.
So that's where the barn sale is. So I highly recommend going there. Boy, Lori likes to redo stuff and deal with old furniture, and a great way for people to help support a phenomenal group of people, Habitat for Humanity. It's Crover Habitat for Humanity, and this year they're working on a house in Glencoe for a really lovely couple. So that's a great opportunity. Our friends of the Loose Line Lace Up, it's too bad, Jill, that, it's arts and crafts and we can't go run.
I know.
I know, we're really sad, aren't we?
We're runners.
Yeah.
We are.
We are runners.
Okay, that was really
sarcastic.
It was.
That's okay. We can be
Well, I mean, if something's chasing me, I always believe I could run, but
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. Or if the line to the wine is getting long or something like that, or they're running out,
Right.
then maybe that. But yeah, so Loose Line Lace Up is happening this weekend.
Which is a great addition to the whole weekend,
for sure. Because there's so many great active people in our community, but in the state. So they can come out here, they can do the run, and then come to Arts and Crafts.
And fuel up at Taste of Hutch.
Yeah, and they can go to the farmers market. So peak of the season now. So they extend their hours for the farmers market that's down at the Historic Depot. They extended their hours so it's 8 to 4. So it's a whole day on Saturday now.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's exciting.
So
I was down there this last week and they had polka music.
Yeah, so they always try to do something extra. So whether it's food demonstrations or somebody who is selling, fresh food that you can eat right on the spot, or having music, something like that, it's really nice to have.
Yeah, we are really fortunate to have such a great farmers market.
I know. That came out of a Blandon Institute, one of the cohorts from Blandon, and it's going really well. And I love the fact that they're doing things throughout the year now. Even when the season is shut down, they're still doing, winter farmers markets. So
yes,
that's nice.
They will be on the table tents.
Yes, they will. Look at you. Jill's first month, and she's already into the table tents. I love it. God bless Jill for figuring out table tents. Hey, we have a couple other chamber members who have things going on this weekend as well that I want to point out. Mesh Designs. Amber has the Barn and Loft sale this coming weekend, so that's something to check out. Now, she's just outside of Hutchinson, but she's a chamber member and has been a great friend of the Arts and Crafts Festival in the past. So she's got that sale going on. And then, this one always tears me apart a little bit, Jill.
Because you can't get there.
Because I can't get there. Stamp and Storage. They have a warehouse sale. And I know that you have you been up there yet?
I have not.
Yeah, so you and I have to go for a tour. So Brett Haugen has one of the best stories, of course. It was a honey-do list. His wife wanted him to make some stuff to hold her tchotchke stuff for stamping, and then pretty soon she had a friend who wanted him to make one, and so on and so on, and now he employs 30 people and has this big warehouse, and they do shows, expos all over. But a couple of years ago, they started this warehouse sale, and it's huge, and people come from all over for it. But, they have Scratch and Dent, and they have, probably some specials, things like that.
Well, I've seen the products. They're pretty awesome.
They're really awesome. So people come. I mean, I just remember the first year, and Brett knows I tell this story, but he'd come in and said, well, what do you think I should be thinking about? And I'm like, well, you got to call the police for parking backup and traffic control. And he's like, what? And I'm like, do you realize how many people, I know you know your business, but do you realize how many people are going to come for this? He came to Arts and Crafts later, and he's like, I had no idea. I was blown away. He said, people love that kind of thing. And then once they're in Hutchinson, they fall in love with Hutchinson. I mean, it's the best of all worlds for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having Mesh Designs and Stamp and Storage doing those right now are really exciting for us. Okay, so this is your first year for Arts and Crafts as a staff member. What are you thinking? What are you wondering?
I'm hoping that I have the stamina to survive the whole week into the weekend. I have no plans that I am aware of for Sunday because that's a good call. I feel like that's a good recuperation day.
Perfect.
But I'm super excited. I'm excited to see things from this side of the festival. I've always known that it was kind of, a juried art festival in the sense that that the city really wanted people who were truly making their crafts and arts and so I had always known that. But seeing from this side what the vendors have to do to get accepted into the show is pretty phenomenal. Just knowing that it no matter what size it is, it's a quality event, and that's really cool to see. And we just brought on CG today is her first day, and she starts the week of Arts and Crafts. I feel like a veteran today.
Yes, you do.
Because I have a whole I'm into week 6
So
now.
Fun fact for the people who are listening today, it's CG's first day, and 2 hours in, we closed the door and said, it's all yours because we've got to do the podcast. Right? And she's like, okay. She with a smile on her face. One of the things that I always, Arts and Crafts is so much work, right? And you've seen how much work it takes here. But the work effort that happens, we couldn't do it without our volunteers.
Right. And that was fun to see. We have if we probably still have a few spots if people call
we
us
do.
up and, you know, want to help. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing to find out that we have like booth sitters, somebody that could go, you know, a lot of these people traveling, you know, some of them it's like a one-person project, or maybe their husband had to go back to work, or, you know, so they get here and they get maybe some help getting loaded in and set up, and then they're running the booth by themselves. Well, they have to go visit the facilities, and they need to get some of the tasty food from the Taste of Hutchinson. And they can, I think it's exciting that they can, you know, that we have volunteers that will go and sit in their booth so they can, you know, stretch their legs a little bit. And
they really appreciate that too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Huge. Yeah. So yeah, if you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't like to people, but I wish there was some way I could help. Well, if you don't like to people, you can sit on a corner and just count people for us.
Yeah.
Last year I sat there and I had my hat pulled down over my eyes. People didn't really know it was me, and I could just sit there and count people. It was really lovely.
They knew it was you, Mary. No.
Yeah, probably. They're like, oh, she's trying to pretend to hide. Okay, we'll just play along. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. You know, we bring in 12,000 people to this event.
Yeah.
12,000.
I had for years. I worked downtown at the 101
And up
Main
above.
Street, and up above, but I would become a cyclist for the day.
For the day,
and I
yep.
would ride my bike to work, because then I didn't have to worry about. I mean, you know, we would get some parking passes, but because we were downtown, and so close to the event. But yeah, it was always kind of a nice catch-up day for us, because a lot of people, it wasn't real accessible for people to come to our office, but we were still there. And yeah, the people watching from up on the second floor
is phenomenal, right?
Yeah. It's
So
it's so fun to see just how bustling it gets, and you know, and you know, really watching that, you know, from up above, seeing like, oh, so-and-so just ran into so-and-so. They haven't seen each other in a while, you know, and they're standing there talking.
Yeah.
And
well, and you bring up a good point, Jill, that we should also talk about the fact that, you know, we pretty much commandeer all of downtown for this event. And although the event is really good for our community, it brings in a lot of people. They may or may not be eating at Taste of Hutchinson. They're utilizing our gas stations and our other stores, and they're purchasing other things and going other places and dropping their dollars here. It also does create a bit of a work stoppage for some people and for some of our businesses. Some of them are so gracious, and they are like, you know what, we're just going to close down for the day and let everybody have the day off to enjoy the Arts and Crafts Festival, and then our patients or our customers, our clients don't have to worry about coming down and dealing with the parking situation. Because if you imagine 12,000 people coming down, and you know, maybe on average they're doubling up, that's a lot of vehicles in the area. So we have a lot of really patient and kind businesses that we work with and kind of do a workaround. But that brings up another point. That brings up 2020.
Right. It's all about to change, people.
It's all about to change. So what's this other little thing happening next year, Jill? What is it?
Well, I think there's a bit of a road construction project on Main Street.
Yes,
I think on the explorehutchinson.com there's a little traffic cone at the top that says Main Street 2020.
Road to a better Hutchinson. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. When you're bringing in 12,000 people, plus all the vendors that we bring in and all the vehicles for that, it really was a tough decision. But we had to move the 2020 Arts and Crafts Festival out to the fairgrounds. We don't have a choice. There's no way.
Yeah.
The project,
especially because we won't know how far down Main Street they are at that point. I mean, construction
and if they're on time, they're going to be on the last section, which is right through our check-in area. The street won't still be open, and there'll still be temporary paving and temporary crossings over at Washington and 2nd. So we did make the decision to move. But I think it was a good decision. It's a safe decision, and it lends us an opportunity to try it out once. And we're going to do some expansion next year for it. So we're going to try that out as well. So I know that some people are super excited. You know, if you're listening to this and you're like, what's the big deal about? Well, some businesses love it because it drives more traffic to their business. Other businesses, let's just be honest, it is a pain in their rear end and they don't particularly care for it.
Right. Right. It's, well, and, you know, it's a catch-22 and a lot of that, you know, and I mean, I think with the traffic flow in downtown, the predictions for next year, it's the best decision to move it to the fairgrounds.
Can you imagine if we did that to the city and they had to help manage that in through all of this? So one of the things that people don't really probably understand or realize is how much the city and the police services really helps us with arts and crafts. So when our vendors, what most people that come to arts and crafts don't see is the vendor load-in. Vendor load-in happens on Thursday, and it's when the park itself starts popping up with white tents. It's so fun to watch that.
It's been definitely fun to watch that from
It's
the
so
second
fun to
floor.
watch that. There's one, and now there's two, and now there's 10, and now there's 50, and now they're everywhere. But they check in over by Faith Lutheran Church. So they're lined up for a couple of hours down Hassan, and then the police direct them from there. So wherever they're coming, even if it's a closed street or an open street, the police are directing them where to come to. And that's a lot of work, and it's a lot of manpower, and we're so, so grateful for their help. But safety, public safety, is so paramount here with this project. We have people parking on Main Street. Main Street is still open. Now where First, Hassan, and Washington are closed, except for vendors, that's a lot of traffic on a state highway.
Well, and I know in the years that I've been here, it has always been Saturday is a huge day, and no one would be able to cross Main Street to get to the Arts and Crafts Festival if it wasn't for the traffic direction that the Hutchinson police do. And, you know, they might actually miss us next year.
They might.
Okay.
Wink, wink, wink. Yeah. So we are going to do that. And I think we tell people now, because we want to be transparent, that we're going to be making this move next year. We're excited for it because it brings a whole new level of excitement for us. We'll be sharing that with the vendors this week. And it's good for the community, and the road project is good for the community. This event actually is a fundraiser for the chamber. Because we do not run completely off of membership dues. It doesn't cover all of the work that we do here. So this is a really important event for us to do. Let's go back to the details of the festival this year, the 13th and 14th in Library Square. Don't forget the food vendors. You know, it's free to come down here. Unless you're making a purchase of food or some crafts, it's free to attend.
Yeah.
Just come and people watch if nothing else. The music, we didn't even talk about the music. The music at Taste of Hutch.
That's been a great addition.